Whether your beer is in a bottle, can, or glass, kick back and relax. It's Better on Draft.
Hello and welcome to episode 363 of Better on Draft. We are talking to Courtney and Derek of Guggman Haus today. But before we get started, I am your host, Rob, and I will ask Wendy, our other host. Wendy, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking an Alaskan Amber. I'm here in Mount Pleasant, so I should be drinking a mountain town, but I haven't gotten out of the hotel yet.
It's always tricky. I am drinking a Texas-style Bock, which is also listed as an amber lager from Community in Texas. I was there a couple weeks ago. This is one that I brought back. So cheers. And Courtney and Derek, hello and welcome to this show. Who are you and what are you drinking?
So we are Courtney and Derek Guggenberger we're two of the co-owners at Guggman Haus here in Indianapolis. And we are splitting one of our Pilsner trials, our number 13 Pils trial.
Cool.
We do a lot of experimental beers, so this is one of them.
Nice. Welcome to the show. Can you tell us a little bit about yourselves, about Guggman Haus Brewing, your location and all?
Yeah. So we are family-owned, family-friendly microbrewery and taproom. It's me and my twin sister Abby, and then our husbands. So Derek, and then Ryan, our brother-in-law as well. So we're one big happy family. And family business, and we have a tap room, kitchen next to our beer garden. We have an event space, racing garage connected to a coffee shop, all just northwest of downtown Indianapolis.
That's so Indiana to have a racing.
It is. Yeah.
Nice. So you're in business with your family, and that's working out well, is it?
It's going pretty well. Yeah, I mean. We have our moments, but I think we all have our own lane that we stay in and thing that we focus on, which really helps us.
Yeah. How long have you guys been open there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think we're having bandwidth issues. It might be me. Wendy, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you guys are breaking up a little, but I'll try ask it again. So how long have you been open there?
Okay. So we opened in 2019.
Okay.
So, all right, am I still cutting out?
It's coming through better now.
Okay. Yeah, so we opened in June of 2019 in a small house on our property where we were brewing in the basement and then serving from our small tap room. And then later that year is when we got shut down for COVID. So we've been open about 5 years. And that's a whole other history we can get into if you are interested in that.
That's right. I'm going to, for a little bit, talk about my experiences with you guys. So my buddy and I, we live out near Brownsburg, Eagle Creek Park area, and we regularly bike downtown. And the best route that we have currently figured out is along 16th Street. Once we get to downtown, is along 16th Street, and we have for at least a few years been making sure to stop by Guggman Haus on our way downtown because you're pretty much on the way at that point. So we have spent many a nice time out in the patio, sweating after bike riding with a good beer.
Love to hear it.
Yeah. So, which brings me to a question. Obviously, I bike there. What kind of visitors are you getting? Are you getting neighborhood people walking in? Are you getting people driving out, biking in? How would you describe that?
I think our customer base kind of comes from all over. So since we're positioned we're not in the heart of downtown, but we're definitely still in the circle of, it's called the near northwest side. We have people that come from like Midtown, Indianapolis, downtown, but then also we get people from Carmel, Zionsville, Brownsburg, Avon, kind of all over. So we have kind of a larger radius since our downtown location is more of a destination anyways. A lot of bikers. And I feel like this year we're connecting more to the biking community, biking community as well. Being that, like you found, there's some really great bike paths. The Fall Creek Trail just got built in the last couple of years as well. That links the, White River, or not White River Park, Riverside Park, all the way out Fall Creek on that new bike trail as well.
Okay, I haven't checked that out yet, but I definitely have to.
You should.
Can you tell us a little more about the space, like the amenities? If someone is visiting you for the first time, what are they going to experience?
Mm-hmm. Jimmy, keep talking. Do you want to talk?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can switch, yeah.
So we divide and conquer, but he'll talk about all the beer stuff.
Okay.
So if someone comes to and experiences us, so we have a very large tap room. The tap room seats about 100. There's about 110 seats, and it's connected to our fest hall event space. That seats about 100 more. And on a busy night, we'll have that open if it's not rented out for a private event. And it's kind of a at your leisure type space. When we created it, it was somewhat built with the idea of having that cabin, kind of a little bit of German influence based on some past experience that we've had, and really trying to create a place for anybody. So if somebody wants to come and just read a book on the couch by themselves, we wanted them to feel comfortable doing that. If they want to come and meet a big group of friends or bring their family, we wanted a space for that as well. So you order beer from the bar at your leisure, and then food from the kitchen at your leisure as well. And most recently, this past year, we opened a coffee house on the property. So that's open most days, Monday, Tuesday through Sunday, 8 to 3 as well. So if you want to stop over for a cold brew, or a morning latte, and then come over into the tap room, you really could spend all day here or there, since we're not actually physically there at this moment. But that's kind of the overall jive of it. In the summer, we have a lot of live music, and just that really, I guess, happy overall experience, kind of a place that people can just come and be part of something greater if they want to be.
I will say I have brought board games there to play with my friends. We do that
Nice.
kind of regularly. And the last time, I can't remember when that was, a couple months ago, there was another group playing board games a couple tables over. And so we gave them one of ours that we were now done with. And so
nice.
we were able to pass it on, but it felt great.
Because it's definitely hard to keep track of all the little pieces of our own board games. I love it when people bring their own as well, because that's always the best.
We just restocked the board games there because it does get a little stretched over time.
Yeah, but bringing your own is always a good option as well.
That's right. Yeah, I found that with a lot of breweries. You just never know if all the pieces will be there.
Yep.
Yeah, that is true.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, have you been there when we've had live music?
A couple times, yeah. So yes, there was somebody. I think it was actually raining, and so they were in the racing area, like where the car is, playing from in there while we were all sitting out in the rain like idiots.
That's not a normal setup, but I guess it worked for that time.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't raining hard, or we would have gone inside.
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt for a second.
Yes.
Speaking of the racing area, I was reading a little bit about the history of the building, and I'm always fascinated by the breweries that have repurposed old buildings. Mm-hmm. So could you give us a little bit of history on that so that people can kind of learn a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So our location is just about 2 miles east of Speedway. And so we're 2 blocks off of 16th Street, which leads right into Speedway. When we were looking for a location back in 2016 to start our small family business, we had initially started looking in Broad Ripple because that's where we lived. Me and my sister, we lived 2 streets apart, and we were home brewing in their basement. And that's really where we got started, was near the Broad Ripple area. But when we were looking for a location, we just, through a business meeting that we had, we found out of this group of vintage racing enthusiasts that were trying to save a historic racing building from complete city demolition. And we were like, that sounds interesting. Like, let's go check it out. And so we went. It was like New Year's Day of 2016, going into 2016, and it was walking into a building that was completely dilapidated. It was beautiful in its own way, but like the skylight had fallen in, there was graffiti everywhere. It was, it was completely like torn apart. So, but there was still some structural, like old brick walls that were standing, and you could see the footprint of the entire space. And in the 30s and 40s, it was home to the Boyle racing team. Wilbur Shaw, he was 3-time winner of the Indy 500. He raced and one twice when he was with the Boyle team, and that was their home base in that garage. And so through the years, I mean, it took us, that's in 2016, we saw that, and we opened on a tiny part of the property in 2019. So it was a very, very long process. But we were able to ultimately keep the vision and the legacy of the Boyle Racing team alive. And that's what the Boyle Racing Garage, which is part of our tap room, that's what it does today. So it has a 1934 Diamond T race car hauler that's been completely restored and rebuilt on the original frame of that car, and that lives in our space as well as a lot of memorabilia and photos of Wilbur Shaw and the team. So that's our piece of racing history that we have dedicated to keeping that alive as long as we can.
That's awesome. So in that answer, you said something that caught my attention because you said you and your sister were homebrewing in her basement. Does that mean you two are the brewers?
No, I say we as in we a lot. No, it was Derek and Ryan, but we were definitely, I mean, we were there along the way. So that was really how we got started. We lived in Germany for a year, and around the same time, Abby and Ryan lived in Denver. And so we each had our own beer cultural experiences. And then when we came back, we lived 2 streets apart in Broad Ripple, built out the semi-professional brewery in the basement of their home, and every baby shower, bridal shower, birthday party was built around having kegs. And we had focus groups, and that it really all started then. But no, Derek and Ryan led from the beer side. We just did a lot of quality control.
So you've built it up pretty good over the last few years, it looks like. What are some of the things that you do in the community?
So we take we have a lot of focus on our community partnerships, and really from the beginning wanted to build something that was, beer has always been at the heart of it, but the community aspect is what helps it keep going. So as far as kind of community within our walls, we have our brew crew community, which is that's our membership, but it's really turned into something where people have become friends through our brew crew, which is pretty cool. And we're excited to, we're having a plant swap with our brew crew next week, which will be fun. But we have a lot of community partners that we do things with as well. And we'll do give back nights, or a lot of times trying to just elevate the mission of our partners as well, like the Parks Alliance. If you're familiar with them, they're located in Riverside, near where we're located, and they focus a lot on making the Indianapolis parks better. And so we are a partner with them. They host a lot of their events in our space. They just hosted a 5K with us last month in February, where they were able to have a pretty cool fundraiser in the middle of winter. I could probably go on and on about our community partnerships. So there's quite a bit that we do or try to do.
I 100% believe that is what will keep businesses, especially breweries, afloat in these rough times right now, because we're seeing the breweries close left and right, and I believe the ones that are going to stay strong are the ones that have their feet firmly planted in their communities. So that's always exciting to hear, and I love to ask questions about that. So let's talk about the beer a little bit. I was looking at the menu, and you have quite a decent variety. Some of it, I'm like, I can't wait to go visit now. What inspires you to make different beers?
Sure. Yeah, I guess one of the benefits that we have is we started off on a very small system at the beginning. And then over time, we've still kept these smaller systems as we've upgraded to bigger brew systems. So even now, we just added a 20-barrel brew house to help a lot. But we still kept our 2-barrel and our 5-barrel system. And so what we'll do is, if we just have some new style we want to try, or some new hops that we want to try, or grain, it really could be anything, even just a new process. We have the ability to make these smaller, basically pilot batches, and try whatever we want. I think that's been a big part of. Go ahead.
Is it like the Pils trial that you're drinking right now?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So, and we've, from the very beginning, honestly, we've been doing this too. So even when we were in the house still, I think we got up to, I forget what we were calling it at the time, but like a hazy IPA number like 60 before we even moved over to the big building that we're in now. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. You've come
Okay,
back.
sorry. It
Yeah.
cut out from our side.
Okay.
So yeah, even before we had left to go over to the big building, yeah, we were at number 60, and really just since then it's been finding these different paths to kind of go down, because I think we enjoy trying new things. I think our customers enjoy experimenting with new stuff that we can put out. It keeps things interesting too.
When I prepare a group that are going there, I usually say, you're going to have some of the best German beers in town. You're going to have some great hazies and some sours and some stouts that might have stuff in them. Does that seem like the right sort of categorization of what tends to be on the menu?
Yeah, well, and it's kind of a funny thing, because like our number one seller in our tap room is our Hefeweizen, so we have all these other things. People also, I think sometimes when they think of us, they think of maybe higher ABV stuff or bigger beers like hazies and sours and stuff. But most of our core beers are all below like 6.7%. So it's not. It's the reality is that we have a wide range of beers that kind of fit every kind of ABV range and flavor range. But for sure, we like to stick to some of the more traditional kind of German styles. But then kind of the bigger branches are for sure like the hazy IPAs, the sours, the stouts. And we've really had a chance, especially on the smaller systems that we are, to really dive deep into each of those, kind of work out our processes, our ingredients and recipes and all that.
And, well, speaking of German beers, I haven't gotten to go yet, but you guys do an Oktoberfest, which I enjoy because you still have the beers on tap afterward. And they're great. So what am I missing at your Oktoberfest?
Well, and we actually have Frühlingsfest as well, which is our spring German festival next month, actually, a week before CBC. But at Oktoberfest, we have our Fest beer, which is our main release that we do twice a year, both of those for those events. And then for Oktoberfest specifically, what all do you do?
Usually we'll try and do a couple of different other German beers. So it might be like a Schwartz beer, or we'll do like a Keller beer. It could also be a Radler. We'll do sometimes too. So we usually blend in at least a couple more releases, maybe even, it's not very German, but we'll do a German inspired hazy IPA. So we'll usually pick like a German hop that also fits well in the profile of a hazy, and we'll make one of that too.
It's called Hoppenheim.
Yep.
When we lived over there, we lived in a town called Heppenheim, so Hoppenheim just made sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like you get to experiment and have fun. Do you get to go to many of the festivals in the area or things like that?
Yeah, we do. I spent the first 5 years almost setting up most of the festivals by myself. So I took a little bit of a breather from that for the last year.
Well, like the first three.
So like that, yeah.
We've been open for 5, so
6 years. Almost 6 years now.
Okay,
yeah.
That's true.
But yes. And now we have a great team that takes care of that too, as far as getting it set up and arranged and all those things too. So we still do some for sure.
But last year in 20, we went to Fobab the year before last, which was fun. That was a little different one. And then the one in Great Taste of Minnesota, or not Minnesota, Midwest. Sorry.
Midwest, yeah.
It's funny. We went to that last year, and then this year the 4 of us are going to go. So we're looking forward to that too.
Nice. Yes. Yeah. You got to pour there, or you go to attend? Because it sounded, we talked to Mark Glasbury about a month and a half ago, about it, and he was saying it was pretty exclusive to get to pour there, and then pretty exclusive to get to attend as well. So if you get to pour, that's great.
Yeah, we poured last year, and we're going to pour this year too. So we got in, and I guess we're in now. So
that's right. Yeah, once you're in, you have to stay in, or else you got to get in again.
Yeah. Have you guys been to that one?
I have not.
Yeah.
It's so close to me. There's no reason that that I haven't been, but it always falls on a weekend when I'm out of town.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I
want to go so bad.
Yeah. Well, and we, when I do get to go, I do really enjoy, because that's really one of the main times I get to see other brewers and hang out with them and talk and stuff. Otherwise, it's usually pretty busy during the week. We don't usually get out to go hang out other places.
Right, and there aren't really other breweries near where you're located. No, froze again.
Uh-oh.
But would you come back? I
We're
have a
here.
question.
Very
For
much.
you. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, welcome back. Okay. So, you're not really located near other breweries, but do you get a chance to collaborate with them to work with other brewers on projects? Is that
Yeah.
a thing that you want to do even?
We do now that we've upgraded our system because it allows for a lot more free time.
Yeah, the
Or not
challenge.
free time, but
Yeah, the challenge before was that there was no flexibility in the schedule. We had a smaller brew house, for the last, well, the whole time, but basically the last 3 or 4 years when we were in the main building that we're in now, it was basically brewing twice a day, 5 days a week. And so there really wasn't, if there was a day, well, there really wasn't days open, but if there was, we had to fill it with some other stuff. There really wasn't a chance to take basically a whole day or more to go hang out in another brewery and brew a beer. There just wasn't that kind of chance. But now we're trying to dive more into that, and we've been able to do a few this year so far, and we'll definitely have some more planned.
yeah, we did one yesterday
Mhm.
with
Oh,
Sunken,
yeah?
and last week with Moontown. So some
Nice.
good stuff coming out soon.
I was just up in Whitestown, and I was disappointed I left before they were open, so I couldn't pick
Oh,
anything
good.
up. But yeah,
No, it's great group of guys up there.
yeah, they're fun. Am I remembering correctly? Did you guys do something with Kismetic?
Mhm.
Okay, they're
I think
another
that's-
one that I quite enjoy that are kind of outside of Indianapolis, but in Indianapolis. They're
over on the
and-
east side, near east side.
yeah,
We did a
they're like-
Baltic chai porter, right?
Mhm.
With
Yep.
them. That's been about 2 years ago, I think, but it was delicious.
okay, yeah, and that's the other thing with them is they put a lot of tea and stuff.
Yeah, it was using their tea. Yeah, they have a cool relationship, I think, with their tea provider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice. So we mentioned earlier breweries are closing everywhere, and there's consolidations and things going on. Where are you seeing the Indianapolis market going, and how are you fitting into it? What are your plans there?
I guess I'll start with like our plans. I think from the beginning, we always, like I said, we were always built around beer, but it was also the experience. And we've always tried to put the experience of our customer first and thinking through how we do events, how we program throughout the week. Even if you're coming in and there's no programming, like what is your experience? And I think, and being family friendly. I think that is where the market is going. And I know a lot of people say that anyways too, but for us, I think people are always looking for like, if I'm going to go spend my time and money somewhere, aside from just maybe the beverage or the food, like what else am I taking away from it? And it's feeling like you spent that your time was well spent. So I don't know if that directly relates back to your question, but I feel like that is where the market is and where it's going is like, what is that actual experience like? And not just, it's not just dependent on one factor of it.
Yeah, let's focus on what we can do better. Make the experience better for for our fans when they come and visit.
Yeah, that's something we think about and take to heart like every single day. So we are constantly working on just improving everything overall.
And are you looking to become like the next Sun King, distributing like every little corner of the state, just having gigantic facilities all over the place?
No, I think our vision is more, and it always was on the experience. And so would we love to replicate what we've done downtown in other areas? Yes. Are we in a rush to do that anytime soon? No. Last year we opened a small tap room here in Midtown in South Broderick Bowl, Meridian Kessler area, right at 46 in College. So that was our first taste and step into what a second location would look like and feel like. And that's been going pretty well since we opened in June. But that's like very small compared to what we have downtown. So it's a nice like neighborhood feel. And as far as distributing, we have about 40 accounts around Indianapolis, and we have someone dedicated to growing those and working with our distro partners, but we're not focused on just getting in every nook and cranny.
It's not growing as fast as we can, endlessly or anything like that.
Yeah.
it's growing smartly, and that's, the plan moving forward.
Yeah, I saw you were drinking from a can, so you obviously have canning abilities. So that gives something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no, that's
Yeah.
Do you have any events or things coming up that you want to plug? It sounded like Spring Oktoberfest was one of them.
Yeah, we have our Frühlings Fest in April. I always get the date confused, but it's like 18th and 19th, the Friday and Saturday of that weekend. And we have music on Friday and 2 bands on Saturday. We bring in like Liederkranz German band. We'll have the steins out, the decorations out, and it just feels like a warm German welcome to spring. And then we have CBC that we will be really busy for that week. So if anyone's coming to Indy for CBC, come see us. We're hosting the Craft Beer Professionals Welcome Party on that Monday. And then on that Wednesday, we're hosting our own house party with live music and good beer and about 12 collabs on tap. So we have a lot going for that. And then on May 4th, we're hosting a bike fest with a lot of biking organizations, nonprofits in the city are coming together to celebrate the kickoff for Bike Month in May. So a lot going on between mid-April to that's May 4th, and then it kicks into race season. So yes, and then we have trivia every Wednesday too if someone's looking for something more regular.
Yeah, you said May 4th, and that is pretty much when all of the craziness right around the track starts up, and you're in the heart of it.
Yeah, I think it'll be go time. Like, there's a lot we want to do to prep for CBC with, I don't know, just it's so many people in the industry coming to Indy, and I'm excited for everyone to get to experience how accessible and welcoming the city is. And we're excited to put our best foot forward as well.
And you had said it before, you're about 2 miles from the track, and my normal bike route is down 16th Ave, or 16th Street, which goes right by the track. And it's always fun to see what is running there, and you can hear them for just miles and miles. So whether you can see them or not, you definitely can hear it on race days. And it's
you can hear it from the beer garden. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't mention it earlier, but 2 of our staple beers are named for the racing for Wilbur Shaw. So we have our Wilbur's Prize Pilsner named for Wilbur Shaw, and then our Winter's Milk Jug, our milk stout. So that was named for like the tradition of chugging milk at the end of the race too. So those are little nods to the racing legacy in the history when you're in the tap room as well.
So I was just laughing because you said May will be go time, and I'm like, I'm tired just listening to you talk about all the stuff that you've got going on. How do you, you're juggling a lot of balls. How do you kind of split up those duties?
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to say, how do we not drop some balls? Because that always feels like that happens too. I'm always thinking about that from a mom life perspective. But as far as kind of us and owners, like the 4 of us have our areas that we focus. So as far as beer, that's Derek's focused on that. We collaborate on, like the time, like, do we need a label? Is it getting canned? Like, what are we naming it? When's it coming out? And that kind of him and I work closely on that together with my sister as well. When it comes to like marketing and events and that type of stuff, I kind of take charge of the social media and like online presence and making sure it gets out there. But then me and my sister tag team a lot of the partnerships and kind of delegating who's doing what. And then we have a strong like general manager and taproom team as well, and they take care of a lot of like the day of hands-on customer service aspects. So we are very involved, and then we can rely on our team to really implement a lot of the day of stuff as well. Does that answer? Yeah.
Yes. Sorry about that. The housekeeping just came and knocked on the door.
And then I guess I didn't mention our brother-in-law, Ryan. He does all of our finance. So he has an actuary background, business analyst background. So he's our CFO for lack of a better term. And then he has a lot of front of house experience. So he's had his hands, in our helping our kitchen run as fluently as it can and that type of thing. And we're trying to get him more out of that so he can focus on other things. But we're very owner.
Uh-oh.
Broke up again.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, it was a short outage.
Yeah. It sounded like you were saying you're very hands-on owners.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So,
But we have an awesome team, though. Sorry, go ahead.
no, that's absolutely definitely a good thing to have. So, if I'm coming to visit, what is the one beer I should try most? First, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it depends. It might be a cliche answer, but I think it depends what style you prefer, because we try to really have something for everybody. So if you like Hefeweizens, I'd say go for our Guggenweizen. We try to take more of like a bold spin on traditional and modern flavors, so you can always expect a little bit more when it comes to the flavor profiles of our beers. But if you like fruited sours, like we usually have 3 to 4 of those on, and that's a really nice option for someone that doesn't want a Hefe or an IPA, or likes more of the fruited, wine options that we don't have currently. But what would you say? You're the brewer.
No, it really depends on your preference, and the idea is not that we're trying to make, I guess, something for everyone. It just happens to be that the beers that we really love to make and have on tap, they do fit, I guess, basically anyone that comes there can find something. If you really just like kind of more like a traditional beer, or Helles or Wilbur's Prize Pilsner, those are great light beer options, or a Hefeweizen. If you're really into the big stouts, usually try to we at least have our milk stout on. And if nothing else, we might have another barrel aged stout or something like that too. Or if you love hazies, we always try and have at least 2 or 3 of those on at a time. We've really enjoyed, diving into those basically the whole time that we've been open. So it really just depends on what you're going for.
When I introduce a person to the place for the first time, I usually suggest the Hefeweizen as a starting point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rob.
Appreciate
You're a good spokesperson.
Yeah, that was really one of the inspiration. The Hefeweizen was one of the inspirations really for us, opening in the first place, because we basically before leaving college, it was just domestic beer and all that, and so we finished college and got a job over in Germany, and really drinking the Hefeweizen for the first time was when I really fell in love with just beer, and so it really just been ever since then trying new things. And once we got back from Germany, is really diving deep into home brewing, and really just kind of took off from there.
Yeah, that was my next question is, how did you get into homebrewing?
Yeah, so funny thing, when I was in college, one of my roommates, one day I found like a bunch of like brown bottles in his closet, and before that I really had no even concept that you could even brew at home. It was I hadn't even considered it before. And so towards the end of college, I brewed a couple times and it was fine. But then we moved over to Germany, had the beers over there, and I was like, oh, this is what I should be basically drinking. This is what I enjoy. And so then moved back and really started brewing more seriously. And it started on the stovetop, and then eventually got moved out to the garage, and then moved down to the basement. And
It took over.
Yeah, and this whole time it basically just kept evolving until my brother-in-law Ryan moved back from Denver, and then we really built out the nice system kind of in his basement, because we at that point we knew we wanted to open a brewery. And so from then on, it was brewing a couple of times a week, basically dialing in our recipes, getting ready to open, when we thought we were going to open. But it ended up just being, several years of just focusing on these beers, just trying to make them better.
And those beers that we homebrewed with, that's what we launched with when we opened. And that's like our Hefeweizen and Great Day, Pilsner, our milk stout. Those are all original homebrews that have obviously gotten better over time, but they all started in the basement.
Well, and it was one of those, kind of, I guess, gratifying things for us too, is, we spent all this time developing these beers, and then we opened up, and like a month later, Indiana has its Indiana Brewers Cup. So that's the competition for all the brewers. And so, our first year, we were a month in, we entered, whatever handful of beers. We didn't have a lot of time. We ended up with 3 gold medals, and they were all from our house beers that we had entered in there. It was just that
everyone was like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, it's extremely gratifying.
No one knew who we had just opened. Nobody knew who we were. Yeah.
So it was a very cool experience to open up and receive that kind of recognition, for the work that we put in, for all the years before that.
So is there a style of beer that you prefer to brew or that you really enjoy brewing? I assume you enjoy brewing all of them, or you wouldn't do it.
No, I mean, it is. Everything has its own different kind of thing to it. Like our Hefeweizen, I love because it's the most complicated to brew. And so, but it also makes it enjoyable at the same time, kind of the complication to it. But also at the same time, like we've gotten to do hop selection the last couple of years. And, and I've always, since we opened, enjoyed the IPAs and things like that. And that's definitely something that we focused on. But really, once we started to be able to do hop selection, which is where we picked individual lots we get to use, just because every lot of even like something like Citra can be so different. Once we started to get to pick which hops we get to use, it really kind of changed things, at least for me, because just those flavors that you can get when you can do those kind of selections just changes everything. And so for us, it's been fun now getting to do that and exploring more into these different kind of hop profiles. Really makes everything from a hazy IPA even down to like a dry hop pilsner just that much more exciting.
Those are a couple like I made it moments that you just had there, like the gold medals at the Indiana Brewers Cup, getting to do hop selections.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's got to feel good.
It does. It was one of those things that. Oh, thank you. Yeah. No, because we even before all this, we listened to podcasts, forever. Hear about all these breweries that they're like, hey, man, they get to do hop selection at some point. Like, man, I'm sitting there dreaming, one day that'd be amazing.
No, I haven't been yet, so my goal is to go this year.
She hasn't been yet, but it is for sure, at least for us. I mean, you can make obviously great beers without doing hop selection. That's not a question. But being able to do it has just been a whole different experience.
And it's also like money saving as well. So instead of getting things in the mail that we're just like testing and trialing, you can just go and like pick what you want, and then that it's good. And you don't have to like,
it's not not a ton of trial and error being like, hey, let's bring in 10 different lots of Citra and try them all out because that gets really expensive. We can focus more on, a few kind of nicer lots to start with and then pick some from those that we like. No, it's really worked out good. And I guess the only, not that we're kind of, as we're getting onto this topic, I think the one other thing that, really, I guess, was also again gratifying for me was I think it was 2 years ago.
It was when we got the GABF.
Yeah.
It was in 2022.
Yeah, we don't get to enter a lot of competitions just because one, they're really expensive. And it also just takes a lot of time and planning, and we didn't have a lot of time for a lot of that. But we were able to enter GABF a few years ago, and our milk stout won gold. And so winning a gold medal in basically like the most prestigious kind of brewing competition in the world, that was a really amazing experience, for me and for the team.
Mm-hmm. It's a little brag-worthy.
Yeah. A little bit.
I mean, you can just throw it in there every now and then. So what is next for you guys?
Next for us? That's a good question.
I mean, besides your back-to-back events
Yeah, I think I'll give my answer. Then we can follow it up. I think this year, last year 2024 was a big year. We opened a coffee shop in our house, which was our first tap room. And so that was just a new business branch of figuring that out. And then we opened a tap room a few miles away. So that was our second tap room. There was a lot of effort put into those things. And then later in the fall, we got the 20 barrel upgrade. So 2024 was just a big year of new things. And so kind of what's next for us and what we're in right now is taking what we have and making it the best it can be. So we're like trying to look at processes. We're trying to see, where maybe there's some, now that we have a little more time, like how we could save money on malt contracts. And that's just one example, but just trying to take time and look at what we have. And look at the team that we have and like how we can just kind of be the best version of ourselves. And then we'll look at, what's next in the next few years. We'd love another, offsite tap room. neighborhood pub type feeling. But we don't know exactly where or what yet.
I'll say Brownsburg doesn't have anything quite like that.
We've heard Brownsburg. We've heard a lot of places. So we definitely have a few in our minds. And I think long term, we do have a vision long term for some really cool property, more destination experience. But we're not there yet. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, they see small breweries and they don't understand, or no one's told them, I guess, explained kind of all the work that goes into, running a small brewery, especially as small as we were, for the first 5 years, it was me working 70, 80 hours a week, just trying to basically make things go. And so there was no time to sit there and do planning, in any kind of reasonable aspect, no time to sit back and even really enjoy what you're able to accomplish, nothing like that. And so, this next year with everything that we did this past year, kind of leading up to this, I did this year is all right. Let's settle in, let's focus on processes, try and make things better, and really, kind of dial things in.
So I'm just curious how big your brewing team is.
Yeah. So we have 3 full-time, including me. And so we manage, all the brewing, the packaging. You'd asked about canning earlier, canning. So we do all that with the 3 of us, plus a part-time, we have actually one of our old neighbors who comes in to help with the canning part. And so, especially now with the new brew house, we're able to manage it like that pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can pick the kids up from school now. It's life changing.
It is really.
Yeah.
I just think it's amazing how much you're doing with such a small team.
Yeah. Well, and we've had to learn to be efficient with our processes. So, we've dialed things in well up to this point. And especially now that we're able to cut out, I mean, the new brew house, for example, for us, they cut out like 40 hours of brewing a week. So literally freed up an entire person's, worth of work a week that we can focus on these other things too.
And he's mechanical engineering is his previous job and what his career was. So he runs it very much like with that in mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it so many brewers started out as engineers?
It makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, I guess I'll use maybe engineers as a generalization, but we enjoy processes. I think a lot of us enjoy doing things with our hands, things like that, and so it really does kind of fit well for brewing.
Doing things repeated times over and over.
Yep, dialing things in, all that stuff. It does actually work really well.
Is there a favorite ingredient that you get to work with, or is there one that you really want to work with that you haven't yet?
I mean, the hops in general, again, same idea is we've really loved exploring those. I don't know if there's maybe one in particular, besides, I guess this year, there are a couple of cool ones. Our El Dorado we selected is really nice. Really nice, kind of basically like pineapple juice kind of character to it. So that's been kind of a cool one. As far as, let's say like malt or anything like that, we've slowly developed the recipes over time to where we've incorporated more of the ingredients that we do like. And if things, I guess if we didn't feel like they were contributing enough, we've kind of weeded them out. So, we don't focus on one base malt for everything. We very much pick the right malt for each individual beer. And, and so for us, if I'm picking one that I think has kind of been one of the coolest ones to kind of incorporate into a lot of stuff, we use a German Pilsner malt called the Heidelberg, which is like a really low color Pilsner malt that actually, so we use in a lot of our hazy IPAs to kind of bring the color down a little bit on it, but it's also like a real nice clean base for a lot of stuff. So if there's kind of one cool one that I usually, whenever we're talking about to other breweries for collabs and stuff like that, it's usually a malt that not a lot of people have tried up to this point, but I definitely promote it just because I think it works out really nice.
Do you get to use any local ingredients, or do you have local partnerships?
I mean, it's been on and off. We had a hop farm that closed a couple of years ago. Since then, there hasn't been a lot that we've been able to work on. We have used some local grain in the past. I think it's really it's hard to fit some of those, I guess, things in, and some of it is not picking the right ingredient for the beer. And that's not always going to be the local one. That's just how it works.
Right.
But if we're doing
How about,
something, oh, go ahead, Rob.
well, how about you got a coffee shop now? So do you have like a coffee partnership? You roasting your own, or because that goes good beer?
Yeah, I was about to actually bring up the coffee.
Yep.
That's what I was going to say.
Mm.
So we use Tinker Espresso at the coffee shop, and then we use another local roaster, Blue Mind, for drip coffee over there. But we've been partnered with Tinker for a while, and we use a lot of their blends in our coffee beers.
Yeah,
and they turn out really great.
That's a good local group.
Yeah, they're across the street from us too, so they're right there in Riverside as well. You pass them on 16th Street, their production facility.
I guess I did not realize that. Okay.
Yep, they're right there.
You'd think I'd smell it.
Yeah.
I guess I don't really either, but it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had mentioned earlier you got to enter GABF. Did you enter the World Beer Cup since you're going to be there? It's in Indianapolis. Easiest one to transport to ever.
Well,
we still have to ship it to Denver.
No, we still have to ship it to Denver.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. Yes. So we're entering this year. We had took a few years off just because, like I said before, kind of the timing and the cost for it. It was just tough to pull off. But this year made sense to do it for sure.
I'm sorry. So that's the GABF had to go to Denver. Did you enter the World Beer Cup?
World Beer Cup. Yes, believe it or not, we still have to ship it out to Denver.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not sure why. I actually, when I signed up for it, I thought we were also shipping to Indianapolis. So that was not the case.
We entered 3 beers,
Yeah.
so we'll see if we win any of them on that Thursday night.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
For sure.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be really awesome if you went that close to home.
Oh,
that would be great. That would be pretty awesome. That would be pretty cool.
I think that we are getting in towards the end of the episode, so we're going to start wrapping things up. And before we do, Wendy and I will ask you a more fun, lighthearted question, to just kind of get to know you as people. So my usual question is, what was the last board game you guys played, and did you win? I guess there's 2 of you, so
that's a good question. Our kids love
card games count.
Yeah. What did the space game?
Well, I was gonna say the one we played over at Sarah's house was the Emerald, the Diamond one.
Well, it was here. But
was that here?
Yes. But we don't remember the names of stuff. But what's the space one? I don't know. We actually play a lot of games, and our oldest son is he'll be 10 next month, so he's very much into like the strategy games. But we just can't remember the names of any of them. But we like strategy board games. Yeah,
we have 3 little kids, so we haven't got to play adult board games for quite a while.
Yeah.
But we do. I don't know. It's kind of a more obscure game. I do play Gloomhaven with my oldest son, and so we've been enjoying that a lot.
Yeah, that's a good. Was the diamond one? Is it one where you trade gems to different colors that you can get golems?
Exactly. Yep.
That's called Golem. It's a good game, or maybe.
Yeah. I think
there's Century Road Golem, and then there's a second one. It's
like chips. It's like colored chips that you get, and then you buy. Yeah, maybe it's called that, and we just never knew that.
Or we could have just described a bunch of different games that have similar mechanics.
What's the latest games you guys have played?
I just played one called Roll Camera, which is an interesting turn-based worker placement game. I did not win. Actually, it's cooperative. We won together, but I don't feel like I contributed much. But you have to manage resources in order to build a set and shoot scenes and put together the best possible movie or the worst possible movie.
My most recent game was a very spirited game of spoons.
Oh, nice.
My friends and I have gotten together for years, and we actually have a saying that's no friends in spoons, because once we start playing, all bets are off. We've had people that have ended up bleeding, and our spoons.
That's why you play spoons and not knives.
Somebody got stabbed with a spoon one time. Yeah, it's it's fun, but we're much nicer this time because we were teaching my friend's daughter how to play. So, and she caught on quick. Very quick.
That's a good
and
one.
she also took the no friends and spoons to heart.
That's a good one.
So my question would be, what is your favorite non-Guggman Haus beer?
Mary.
I think we're breaking up again.
We're here.
I think it broke.
Is it me?
Can you
I
hear
hear
it?
you, Wendy. Yeah, I think we're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite non-Guggman Haus beer?
Favorite non-Guggman Haus beer. I had was it Tank 7 Saison the other day? That's a go-to when I go to a local restaurant that my sister lives right next door to, which is nice. I usually go for like a hazy IPA if it's on the menu, but otherwise I like something kind of different like that. And it was good. What about you?
It's kind of hard to say. I guess I bring enough beer from our place, or I get beers from other breweries when we visit and stuff. It's hard to say. I mean, I think some of the ones I really enjoyed early on were and we bring these, I guess, kind of styles back, now periodically. But like I enjoyed like the all day IPA when that first came out. Just a really nice blend of kind of citrus, but also like a light, crisper beer, and that was kind of one of the early ones, for that. Otherwise, I think the one that, for example, at our wedding, the beer that I gave to all of our groomsmen was actually like the Franziskaner Hefeweizen. And that was my favorite Hefeweizen from Germany. And so if I'm picking one to drink, for sure it's going to be that.
Yeah.
Do you guys, were you in Broad Ripple when Bruges was still open in there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss them dearly. But they had good beer too. Not German, but Belgian.
Belgian, yeah. Triple day Ripple.
Yeah.
That was quite the beer.
Yeah.
Which is similar to the Tank 7. Yeah.
That's a safe one because they're not open anymore, so you can love their beer.
Yeah.
They're not competitors.
I'm not picking one over another.
Yeah.
That's right. So, Courtney and Derek, thank you very much for joining us. It has been a pleasure to have you. Well, we've heard you have a lot of stuff coming up, including a festival that I have got to figure out a way to get to. Is that a ticketed event, by the way, or is that just to come and enjoy?
No, none of our events are ticketed, but they're just always focused on the beer releases, the live music, and then the community. So we'll have some pop-ups and stuff as well, but it's not ticketed or anything. So you can just show up whenever.
Okay, excellent. And you said you'll be at the CPC, so if anyone else is going to the Craft Beer Fest, go check them out.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for us. Wendy, do you have anything that you need to add?
Don't forget to vote for your favorite breweries during our March Draftness.
Thank goodness you brought that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, March Draftness is going on our Facebook page. So it's Michigan breweries. I realize we're talking to an Indiana brewery right now, but it's Michigan breweries are facing off for fan favorites. So yeah, make sure to vote early, vote often. I think you can only actually vote once on each matchup.
Yep. It's a Facebook group, March Madness 2025, if you need to search it.
Yeah.
Go out and support your favorite brewery and remind everybody else to vote for them too.
And we will be back in about 2 weeks. In 2 weeks to talk to One A Day Brewing, which is, I'm not sure if they're in March Draftness. That would be awkward if they are. But we're going to talk to them anyway. And so with that, we will wrap up our show like we wrap up every show and say, whatever you think of your beer, we think it is better on draft. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.